to my channel. I am popping on here to give y'all a little update. It seems like that's all I can do these days. I have so majorly fallen off the video making wagon, and I just can't seem to get back on. You know how it is. Somehow I had made space for it in my life, and now I just am not doing it like I was. So sorry if I'm like very infrequent on here. But it is what it is. So I'm just going to kind of briefly give y'all a pregnancy / homeschool update. I have notes that I'm looking at because this brain can't hold much these days. So as far as pregnancy goes, I am now 26 weeks along, and I feel like this pregnancy is flying by. Scary. Like, the pace is really scary because I'm not ready. I mean, I'm sitting here in her room, and the whole floor is covered with like odds and ends that, yeah, I just don't have time to deal with. I haven't made time to deal with it. So it's just sitting in here with the door shut, and she won't need this room right off anyway because she'll be in our room in a pack and play or something. But it would make me feel better if this was at least a little more like a room and not like a junk room. So, but my energy level has gone up a little bit, which is good. Morning sickness has gone away, thank goodness. That was like 18 weeks of just really nasty sickness. But it finally I got over it. I think the last time I threw up was the night of our baby refill. So, that was special. Trying to get somewhere and going, yeah, we're not leaving here until it happens because I know it's coming, and it was gross. So anyway, yeah. Let's see. I have had a few, like, I think it's low, I'm not drinking enough, and I'll start having like what I'm assuming is kind of like a contraction. Actually with the girls, went into like full-blown preterm labor with them at 32 weeks and didn't realize it until the contractions were like 10 minutes apart. Because I was chasing a 2.5-year-old at the time and was up and down on the floor. I was cleaning out my cabinets that day. And by the time supper came that night and I was starting to cook supper, I realized like, oh, these are contractions. Like, and went and sat down, and they went from 10 minutes apart to 5 minutes apart, and then went and laid down and drank water like they tell you to do. And they were 2 to 3 minutes apart when we were like, oh, this really is what this is. Like, oh my goodness. And we went to the hospital, which was just right down the road from our house at the time. So I'm kind of scared of preterm labor just because of that experience. Like, I start realizing, like, I keep cramping up here, you know, but so far water has made it go away, which is really good. I just don't take time to drink enough during the day. Last time I went, my last checkup, which was maybe last week. Last week was busy. I think it was last week. They told me, like, you know, they do a urine test. They're like, you need to bump up your fluids. I'm like, yeah. And then the next day I started having cramps, like really a lot all day long. Cramps, contractions. I don't know what to call them. I don't know what they are. But yeah, so I really need to stay on top of that. Baby name search is going very slow. It is a tedious process. I think we've used most of the E names we like, but I refuse to have a baby oddball because we already have 3 E's, so we're sticking with E's. It's gonna have to happen. And so far the middle name that I love, my husband's like, no. So, boo. Usually I end up getting my way. I've pretty much named our kids, and he's signed off on their names, but you know, I'm not gonna stick our kid with a name that he's just like, no. So hopefully we'll find one we love. But honestly, it's like by the time I get in bed at night, I'm too tired to think about baby names. And then I made the mistake of buying a book of 100,000 baby names. Oh my goodness. Who is gonna name their kids? You can't even pronounce half of what is in there, and it's like, I mean, no offense. If you've named your kid out of that book and you found one, great. More power to you. But some of them I can't even say. So I'm like, can't name my kid something I can't even pronounce. That's just not going to work. So there's lots of them. you have to weed through all the different names to find a name you recognize. So that was not a good purchase. I have thought about, which I thought about this with the girls, and never did it, about starting to cook meals and double and triple them so I can freeze them. That just takes a lot of forethought and a lot of planning and preparing. And if you've watched my channels at all, you know I'm a free spirit, and forethought and preparing and planning don't really mix with my personality very well at all. So like yesterday I was cooking spaghetti and I thought, man, I should have doubled or tripled this recipe. That's how much forethought was there. So I don't know how I'm going to accomplish that, and meal planning is always a struggle anyway. So to try to do it times 2 or 3, it's not really working out too well so far. Like at one point last week, I started actually making a meal plan with that in mind. And I actually bought some of the groceries to go with that. And now I don't even know what I was planning to cook. I just frustrate myself. So that's pretty much the pregnancy update. And I will try to get up off this floor and show you my belly. Ugh. There she is in all her glory. I feel like I'm huge. It is what it is though, so whatever. And I pretty much hit my sweet tooth returned when I stopped being sick. Like while I was having morning sickness, I was really not wanting sweet food and was not tolerating sweet food much at all. Now that that's over with, oh my goodness, I made chocolate oatmeal no-bake cookies yesterday. I made Rice Krispie treats today, and I almost ate the whole pan myself. That's so bad, I know. But I guess I'm just making up for lost time. I don't know. But sweet tooth has to get under control, like, soon. And like I've had really horrible heartburn. It comes and goes. It's so weird. It's like I can eat something that I think, man, this is gonna give me heartburn. Nothing. And then the next day, I have horrible heartburn like all day long. So I don't know what the deal is. But I've been eating ice cream or drinking milk, and that seems to help better than Tums even does. I mean, Tums, every other pregnancy that I've had, it worked. This one, I don't know what happened to Tums, but it's not working. So, yeah, and I found ice cream. It really does help me better than that. So it doesn't hurt my feelings to eat ice cream either. So that's why I look so like fluffy right here, because I'm getting fluffy. Hopefully nursing will help with that. Anyway, so that's the pregnancy update. She's moving, she's kicking, I love it. This is my favorite. I love when you can feel them, and the kids are starting to be able to, like, I'll catch it and they'll feel her, and they're so funny because they'll put their hand on my belly and she'll kick them a good kick, and they're like, and then they're like, I'm like, well, you gotta be still. You know, they're anticipating it too much. It's really cute though. So they're enjoying getting that experience. Let's see, homeschool. We are plugging along, and I'm saying plugging along because that's kind of how it's going. Now, I will say, and I don't know if I said this my last go around, I probably did, but Elin, who used to give me, she was my little popcorn, my most of the time popping popcorn kid. She has become, I call her the rocket now. She's like totally has figured out how to knock it out and get it done. She knows if she does her work, she can have as much time to play as it takes the other kids to do their work. So she has been having a ton of free play time, which makes her happy, makes me happy. It's awesome. The other two, on the other hand, I haven't figured that out yet. And I was telling Everett the other day, I figured out with him, I really feel like what has happened over the last year, like with math, it takes forever. I really think it's because he's almost practiced taking forever doing his work. It's like the opposite of working fast and getting in the habit of working fast. I feel like he's really gotten in the habit of working slowly. And so now it's just like draggy all the time. It doesn't have to be that way, but it's really up to him to fix that, and that's up to him. So I'm just gonna start telling him that way, like, hey, don't practice working slow, practice working fast. Get it in your mind. I wanna knock it out. You know, if you can do the same thing in 5 minutes as it takes 5 minutes one day and 30 minutes the next, and it's the same answers, Just bump it up to 5 minutes, dude. Get done. So I would say, like, along with plugging along, I think we just have spring fever. And honestly, I've scheduled us 4-day weeks most of our weeks, except for our co-op weeks. So we don't have like a spring break going on because I don't want to tack any time onto the end of school because I have a baby coming, and I'm afraid whenever she comes, school is going to be done. Because, I don't know. I just feel like I'm older this go round. I'm feeling every bit of my 40 years with this pregnancy. Let's put it that way. And I just feel like my recovery time is going to be longer and more difficult just because there's more of us to cook for, to clean for, to do for. So I don't know how that's going to go. We'll see. Oh, I do have to say, I gave Everett a standardized test, the California Achievement Test, recently. And that's our first standardized testing experience. We did the online version. And I was very excited about the results. Basically, the reason why I gave it to him this year was just like a practice run, because I like accountability. I like to know where you are on some standard, you know, just for my idea. And really, it really gave me good information. It basically said his listening comprehension was like at 5th grade level, which I'm not surprised because we read aloud to him every single day. Like our Bible story, we've been reading, like right now we're working our way through Little House in the Big Woods and any other stuff, our 5 in a row books. And he's been having that his whole life. So I mean, he understands on a very high level compared to his reading level, which they said his reading level was like a 3rd grade level. But I listened to him read those paragraphs out loud, and I was really surprised he got the answers he got, because his reading fluency is not, in my estimation, where it needs to be right now. We're working on that. I'm trying to get him to read more. It's challenging. Just because he's not a natural reader. He's kind of like me. Or the way I was. It's just not the first thing on your mind to do. It's not like you want to walk around with a book and read it all the time. I have to make him read. And so it's a struggle. And I feel like his reading fluency right now is suffering because of that. Let's see what else. Oh, we identified a major hole in our curriculum. Just because our language arts stuff is kind of all over. You know, like we do all about spelling for spelling. We do spectrum writing. It's just something I threw in a few months ago when I found that book on my shelf. I was like, oh, we need to do this at 2nd grade level. You know, and we don't do it very often, but we're trying to get in the habit of writing more, because that's an area that we just haven't practiced enough. And I feel like that's an area you need to practice a lot. So, yeah, so we're trying to do that. We've done that recently. Well, on the usage and mechanics portion of the test, he scored like that was his lowest score, which was 2nd grade level. But basically, you know, punctuation, when to punctuate stuff, when to capitalize things. He just wasn't catching it, you know. And all that, and the spelling, which they would give him like a list of words and one might be misspelled. And the last answer was none of these. And he'd be like, he'd read them all and go, none of these. And I'm like, oh, well, okay. But what you think, you know. So that's kind of how that went. But I was so glad, because I ended up buying like the Easy Grammar workbook, and we're working our way through that. So he's learning the capitalization, the punctuation, some grammar, you know, like verbs and whatever, sentence combining, just basic skills that he needs to have, that I was kind of like, you know, oh, I wasn't aware that we weren't addressing this enough. So there we go. We're addressing it. So that was good information. His math, I was very pleased. His math was like 3rd grade, 8th month or something. So, I mean, I feel like the Horizons math is really a great program, and he's where he needs to be. I mean, he's a 2nd grader, so that worked for me. Let's see. My kindergartners, they are getting lots of free time between their subjects these days, just because they finished both of their phonics books for the year. So I'm just kind of like taking the phonics teacher's book and like grabbing words out of there and having them write them in their notebook. Like I'll just call them out and they'll write it down. I started them on the All About Spelling Level 1 because they were just ready. Like they had been doing their like letter notebook, which is more like a crafty thing, and you know, had different activities for each letter. They just gave me a hard time with that, and I was finally like, you know what? They're above this. They're ready. So I was like, fine. So we started with the All About Spelling, learning the phonograms. They did that. So we're just now getting into level 1, like starting it. And so far, I mean, they're like, we want to do spelling. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Let's see. They are pretty much loving 5 in a row. They enjoy our studies. I told them right now we're doing Madeline and we're studying France. So I bought the stuff to make the Eiffel Tower with icing and wafer cookies. So they have been bugging me for like since last week. When are we going to do that? When are we going to do that? Because Daddy found the wafer cookies and opened them and started eating them and giving them out. So now they're like, I want to make that. Like, woo. So we will probably do that tomorrow, hopefully. I bought it with good intentions, and every day I'm like, I don't want to do that right now. So maybe tomorrow. I guess maybe my sweet tooth will be in the mood for vanilla wafer crackers or whatever you call those things. I don't know. Let's see. I'm preparing for next year in advance because I figured the summertime is going to be taken up with a newborn and newly sleep deprived brain, and I'm not going to feel like doing anything school related. So I've already planned out my days for the whole year as much as I can without knowing what the co-op dates are yet. We are going to attempt co-op, even though I think it's going to be very challenging for me because when I've in the past had babies, I've been home most of the time. I mean, last time I had babies, I had 2. Doesn't make you want to go anywhere, or didn't me. It was very difficult for me to just get out with 2 babies and a very active toddler person. So this time around, I mean, I'll have 3 big kids and a baby, and I don't want to deprive my big kids of co-op because they love it so much, but I feel like I'm just going to be like a limp rag walking around like a zombie looking for a place to nurse a baby in private, because I'm not one of these, you know, like pregnancy, no, not breastfeeding guru people that like feel comfortable just to whip it out anywhere. I am not that person. I'm very shy, very modest, very like no one needs to see all that. So yeah, so it should be interesting. But I'm not a person that's like, let's go nurse in the bathroom, like gross. I'm like, there's a happy medium to be found there. So I will have to find it at co-op somewhere. So let's see. So I have my days planned out. I have the curriculum mostly ordered, for better or for worse. We'll see. I'm planning to make some videos about them, what I chose for our 1st grade and 3rd grade. Just basically a lot of the same stuff we're doing with a few additions added in there. So, and then I was going to show y'all our 5 in a row binders, kind of what we've been doing. They're upstairs, and I'm lazy and tired, so I don't guess that's going to be on this video. Anyway, so that's pretty much what's going on with us. I mean, I don't know if you can tell. I'm just tired. So, yeah, I wish I was on here more. I love interacting with y'all, and I love watching the people that I follow on here. I love watching your videos. A lot of y'all, we follow each other. So y'all just keep posting your videos because I enjoy them, and that's what I like, sit there and watch y'all's videos and think, man, I need to make a video, and then I don't. So, but yeah, that's how it's going, and I can ramble here for the rest of the night, but I'm just gonna go make myself go to bed. And hopefully my videos that I plan to do in the near future are some curriculum videos, and probably like a 5 in a row, like what we've done, because we've had several good studies and fun activities that we've done. But I've kind of gotten out of the habit of videoing as we do them. So it might be like a, hey, this is what we did, let me show you our binders kind of thing. But yeah, that's about all I have. And if you made it to the end of this video, thank you for watching. And thank you for subscribing, the people who have subscribed. And I hope y'all are well. And yeah, more later.